Alright, so next up we're going to be doing three different gentle movement exercises. These are not necessarily stretching exercises, but they're gentle movements done to effectively calm down the nervous system and integrate physical movement with neurological activity in your nervous system. These come from work of a fellow named Thomas Hanna, Movement Somatics, I believe, which I learned a little bit of when studying with Paul St. John neuromuscular therapy years ago. And I've found over the years these gentle movement exercises to be extremely helpful for people, and I teach them to everybody that I work with. Essentially, you can imagine if we had a volume control for the nervous system, and there's a little gauge or a little dial in our chest, and we look down and we say, oh my goodness, look, my nervous system is firing off at a 9. Let's crank it down to 4, and your entire level of stimulation in your body goes and calms down. So effectively, this is what occurs as a result of doing these exercises. It has the effect of calming down the nervous system. Without going too much into the weeds, this is by doing these exercises repeatedly and doing them on a regular basis, they create what's called a facilitated nervous pathway in the nervous system. With each pass of a particular nervous impulse over a nervous pathway, that nerve impulses travel over to contract muscles to create movement. Each time a nervous impulse travels over this particular pathway, there's a little bit less resistance. And so the more you do it, the more efficient the system becomes, and therefore you end up needing less powerful stimulation to do the same effect. You can kind of think of, I tell people to imagine that you're the first car on the Beltway after a snowstorm, and you drive through 12 inches of snow. After you've done that, everyone behind you can follow in your tracks of your car, and they don't have to plow through the snow because you've done it already. So you're facilitating the pathway on the road for them. Similarly, as you do these exercises, the more you do them, the more efficient the nervous system becomes, and the smoother your body functions. So I'm going to be showing you the first one, which is what I refer to as sort of a universal whole body movement, and I'll just show you now. So this is done lying down. Lie down and bend your knees so that your feet are flat, and you have your arms out to the side. And what you're going to do first is you'll be rotating your head. Imagine that there's a rod that goes through your entire body, and you're going to be rotating on that axis. So the first motion is your head rotating. So you'll rotate your head to the left, see how far you can go, and then you rotate to the right and see how far you can go. Now, if going to the limit of your motion creates any discomfort or tension, don't go that far. You just want to move as far as you can move without any discomfort or appreciable tension. So if you can move from here all the way over there, but doing that causes you to feel tense and a little bit unpleasant, don't go that far. You might be able to go from here to here and everything feels fine. But then when you go further, you start feeling some pain or something. So you don't want to move into pain. You want to be doing this motion. This movement exercise should be done through an effective range of motion that does not cause any discomfort. So that's the first motion, is rotating your head from one side to the other. Next, with your legs up like this, you're going to first try and keep your pelvis in contact with the surface that you're lying on. So I tell people to imagine that they're wearing shorts made of Velcro and they're stuck to the ground. So if you're stuck to the ground you're going to drop your legs down, and at some point when you're moving over to the side, your hips are going to want to leave the ground and lose contact with the ground. And if you had Velcro on your shorts stuck to the ground, you would start to hear a ripping sound of the Velcro tearing away. Now, when you, in your mind, if you hear that Velcro ripping away sound, that would mean that that is effectively the end of emotion, because you don't want to go beyond that. When you're moving to the side, you want to go just to the point where you're just starting to peel away. If you go beyond that and you lose contact altogether, that's too far. You don't want to do that. So to demonstrate this motion, well, first of all, there's sort of two steps. One is doing the head and the hips together just to learn the basic motion. And then once you've got that down, you add the arms to the fray. So I'll demonstrate just moving the head and the legs together. So you're going to start by dropping your legs to the left, and as you do that, you rotate your head to the right. When you get to the end of the motion, you reverse, and you go to your limit in that direction. And then when you reach that, you reverse, and you move in the other direction. So what you're doing here is a continuous motion from left to right of your head rotating and your hips dropping to one side or the other. And you'll do this through 10 cycles of movement. One cycle being head to the right, head to the left, and then 2, head to the right, head to the left, and so forth. So you'll do this continuously. You don't want to stop and hang out, and you don't want to move so fast that you're rushing through the motion. It should be a relaxed, smooth, flowing motion, and the more you do it, the more smooth it should become. So once you've done this and you've gotten it imprinted in your nervous system so that you can do this head and leg movement without really thinking about it, then it's time to add the arms to the fray. So your arms are going to go out to the side like this, and what you'll be doing is, as your legs go down in one direction and your head goes in the other, the hand that you find yourself looking towards will be palm up, and the other one will be palm down. And then as you turn your head, whichever hand you're looking at will be palm up, and the other one is palm down, so that effectively you're doing this motion. As your head and your legs move in opposition, your arms follow, such that the palm of the hand that you're looking at will be up and the other one will be down. So when you're starting to add the arms to the motion, be prepared to get confused. So if you add the arms and you get out of sync, just stop and go back to moving your head and your legs, because you've got that down. And then when you feel like you're ready to start and add the arms to the other two motions, just do it. Soon it will become second nature and you won't have to worry about it. But inevitably, when you first start, when you add the arms, you get all confused. So just let that be a lesson to you. So that motion is pretty much an entire body motion. Obviously you're moving your neck, you're moving your hips, but also the vertebrae are twisting on one another, so there's like a wringing of the rag motion with your head moving and your legs moving in the other direction. Your entire spine is moving also, so you're introducing a gentle movement in the spine as well. So you're engaging most of the body as you do this, and it's done very gently. At first you might be kind of stiff and tentative because you're learning it, you're thinking about doing it and integrating everything. But once you get into the habit of doing it, it should become a lot more smooth, to the point where you're almost floating through the motion. It should be quite pleasant, where you're doing the motion and it should be like you're just sort of floating through the motion, and it's very relaxing and quite pleasant. So That's your goal, is to get to the point where you can float through the motion. So that's the first of these movement exercises. And